Hello everybody. I'm trying to speed through this one. Thanks to Rui Martins for providing me the addresses to the record stores. Several of the stores that we visited were closed on 2 different days, so I don't know how common that is, but anyway. 2 of the stores were this department store, FNAC, where we have visited this department store in France and Germany, Spain, and I think in Austria. So yeah, let's go. First one was Guns N' Roses Live Era 87-93, double CD. A really good one, better than what I expected. I was really pleased with this one. Second one is Marvin Gaye Live, released in 1974, includes bonus tracks compared to the original vinyl album. The songs are not added to the end, they have been placed there within the track listing. So I think this works as a seamless album, really good album. Next one I had decided not to buy, but it was so cheap that I fell victim to it. Nirvana Live at Reading. I'm not a fan of festival recordings. The sound quality here isn't the best possible, but in my opinion, in this case, it happens to be just a bonus, because the sound is like a glorious racket. It's a chaotic sounding recording, which in this case only adds to these songs. So this one was also a great find. Then Gary Clark Jr., Black and Blue. I've read that this guy is supposed to be the new big thing in blues, but this one was a disappointment to me. A couple of tracks here are like pure blues, and those I do like, but then the songs that have like drum loops and dance beat to them, I didn't like them. Biggest disappointment to me during this trip. The most interesting store that we visited was called Groovy Records. They actually had their own label. They have released albums on their own also, and that store concentrated on garage rock type of music. They played an album there that played songs by girl groups that played 60s girl groups type of songs, but with the 80s garage rock / punk rock type. So not really my kind of music, but interesting, I would say. And the one of the most interesting albums that I found was from there. Again, Stooges, More Power. As you can tell from the cover picture, these are recorded during the same time as the Raw Power album. And there are several songs here that I have long wanted to find from Stooges, called Tight Pants. I Got It Right, which is one song that he himself has said is one of his favorite songs from the Stooges period. Sin of the Crime, Gimme Some Skin, Open Up and Bleed, Cock in My Pocket, I'm Sick of You. Great songs, but the cover versions here, Money That's What I Want, Louie Louie, and I'm a Man, rather awful to be honest. But this, all in all, I would say that this was one of the best finds of all. And I also found Tom Petty and Heartbreakers, Southern Accents. This one was better than what I expected, than what I remembered, because I have owned this long ago, and I didn't like the David Stewart production, which adds drum loops and keyboards, annoying 80s keyboards, I have to admit. But turned out that David Stewart only produced a couple of songs here. So this was better than what I remembered, although this includes 3 songs that I didn't like at all. But overall, this was better than what I remembered. But yeah, it's hardly anywhere near my favorite Tom Petty albums. And then my favorite store of all there was one called Carbono. Obviously, I'm mispronouncing the store names, but it had the widest selection, biggest selection, and unfortunately, I left behind a lot of albums that I could have bought. But it was the first store of the day, so I was like that. I'm not going to spend so much money on the first store, but I should have in the end. This is a Pete Townshend Scoop. This is the first volume. There's Scoop 2 and Scoop 3 double albums, including demo. These are demo recordings that Pete Townshend made, which he later recorded either with The Who or as solo. And I have quite a bit of these demo recordings, and usually I like them, but this one was a disappointment. There are good tracks here also, but mostly I didn't like this one. Genesis, The Way We Walk, Volume 1, The Shorts. Again, I think that this was a great find because I haven't seen this album probably since the mid-90s. But as recordings, I didn't like them. I didn't like this much. I mean, there are good ones like Throwing It All Away was my favorite on this one. But then there was disappointments like Mama, which is one of my favorite Genesis songs. So yeah, I wasn't too crazy about this one. But just because it's a rarity, I'm happy to have it. And this next one, this is a victim of circumstance. I knew that I wanted this, but at the same time I knew that I was going to be, in a way, disappointed with it. This is Almond Saint, March of the Saint. And it's not the question that I would think that this is not a good album. Not at all. I think this is a good album, but unfortunately I bought the Symbol of Salvation before this, and I think that one is just outstandingly magnificent album. So this gets to be compared to that one, and this one pales in comparison. Like I said, I think it's a good album, but I should have bought this one first and Symbol of Salvation later, and I could see this one in a different light. I wouldn't need to compare this one to the Symbol of Salvation. Symbol of Salvation is just so great album that I just can't help but compare this one to that one, and it just doesn't compare. Next one was an interesting find because I have always known about this album, but I have never seen this one before. This is Kevin Rowland, like it says here, of Dexys Midnight Runners. This is his first solo album from 1988 called The Wanderer. And yeah, it was an interesting find, like I said, because I have never seen this one, but I don't like this. There's not a single song here that I would think this is great. A couple of songs are good, but I wouldn't call this even like an okay. I would say that this is listenable, but I'm not going to be playing this much at all. Yeah, I didn't think that this was the most good one. Next one was one that I have had on cassette, and like I've said several times, I don't much care for the cassette, so it was great to find this on vinyl. And I was thinking that this is one album that I have not seen shown in VC. Day or two after I came home, I noticed that Merely Chris has this album on one of his videos thumbnail. This is the Alarm Standards, a compilation album of their first 4 albums, and having listened to this after a long time, this was a great album. I really, not all of the tracks are great, but there's a bunch of really good songs here. And finally, Style Council, live, home and abroad. I was like, how good would these songs work as live? Because I have felt that Style Council is like a studio creation. So I was wondering how good this would work. And again, this was like half of the songs work well, but half of the songs doesn't work. Like My Ever-Changing Moods just pales in comparison to the studio counterpart. But then there are songs like The Whole Point of No Return and With Everything to Lose. Those were really good ones. So there are really good songs here, but some of the tracks just does not compare to the studio counterparts. Okay, in the end I would say that I made rather interesting finds rather than great finds, but because beforehand I had thought that I wouldn't find anything at all, I am pleased for the most part for these finds. And even with disappointments like this one, I'm happy that I got this one for cheap, because I had considered buying this one on vinyl, so getting this for €4, it was a good thing. Yep. Okay. That's it for this time. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Bye.